Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Spiritual Growth Forum. I am Charisse, your host, and I am here with Dennis Wong, who is honestly one of my favorite humans in the whole wide world. And hello, Dennis. And he's wearing
Hi,
his
Sharice.
favorite sweater, which is the gratitude, reminding you of gratitude. Gotta have that gratitude of attitude. Dennis is kind of a cool dude. He is a metabolic, nutritional, and functional medicine consultant pharmacist who is committed to guiding individuals on their journey to optimal health and wellness. He leverages an in-depth understanding of the underlying causes of health issues, combining nutritional guidance and lifestyle enhancements to devise personalized solutions. In 2007, Dennis was honored with a fellowship in anti-aging, nutritional, and metabolic medicine from the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine and earned the distinction of diplomat with the American Board of Anti-Aging Health Practitioners. Further expanding his expertise, he became a certified clinical nutritionist in 2008 and was recognized as an Institute for Functional Medicine certified practitioner in 2015. Through these prestigious certifications and his innovative approach, Dennis offers comprehensive strategies to empower individuals in achieving sustained health improvements. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you, Sharice. It's a mouthful of introduction, and thank you. Appreciate that.
Just a little bit, yeah, absolutely. You've got a lot of pretty big credentials, so thank you for joining us. I definitely appreciate it.
You are very welcome. I'm very happy to be here, and the reason I did all of that is when I got into pharmacy school and when I became pharmacist. For me, I'm actually born and raised in Burma. So I came to Canada like when I was 19. So it's fairly, if you look at it, I'm like almost done teenage year. And I moved to Canada, totally different culture, totally different language, all of that. And so it was pretty stressful. And so my system gets stressed then. But then, in Asia, it's always balanced life, right? Your lifestyle, your food, your work, school, etc. We always have that balance. But coming to North America, it's totally changed. But my goal always was that trying to help people, and I enjoyed that. So when I became a pharmacist, when I had a chance, open up my own pharmacy and started helping people. And one of those things, right? There's always should be a reminder when you go to work, like when you fly the airplane, that the stewardess and attendants will tell you for the safety thing, when there's an emergency and when oxygen mask come down, put your mask on first before you help other. I forgot about that. So the first 5 years, both of us, my wife and I, we got really sick, especially me. And, every spring, every fall, I get sinus infection to the point that I have to take antibiotic. And then that antibiotic will cause me gut dysfunction. And then I get bloody diarrhea. That was like for a couple of years. And after that, I told myself and my wife, we looked at each other and said, you know what? This is not how we want to serve other people because we cannot. We're totally exhausted. We're sick. So let's look at how and what we need to do. And that's how we got into all these, as I'm learning about, metabolic and nutritional medicine and anti-aging medicine. And the more we learn it, we found out that the more we don't know. So you keep going and going and going until okay, I think I have enough now.
Absolutely. I love your story. I think it is one of the more inspirational ones that I've heard over the years because it's so relatable, but it's so different at the same time, right? You grew up in a totally different culture, a totally different way of living. And then you moved here and you drank the Kool-Aid
Yes.
And then realized a couple years, like, what am I doing? Like, this is insanity. This is not what I learned. Like, and you moved backwards to go forwards. And I
Yeah.
love that
Thank you.
because, yeah, it's
Oh,
important, right? Like, if we're not,
can you see me?
yeah,
Oh,
oh,
good.
you're good. You're
Somehow
good.
my screen, sorry about that. My screen somehow went blank. So I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, no, you're still good. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's inspiring and empowering is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
You're pretty
Thank you.
awesome. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about how you infuse the functional medicine principles into kind of helping people with their stress and trying to um, learn how to recover from that and be a little more healthy.
Absolutely. The thing is that a lot of us don't listen to our own body, right? And every time there's something happen with our Western medicine and Western culture, if you're sick, there's going to be a pill, for an ill. And that's how we've been trained traditionally. So you have a headache, you take Tylenol or Advil. If you have a stomach ache, you take, an acid, or now as you have a heartburn, you take these prescription acid reduction stuff. And when your heartburns go away, you ignore whatever you're doing that causing this. But from the functional medicine point of view, what we do is you come to me and say, I have a, heartburn. I'm not going to give you the acid reducer. I'm going to ask you, what did you eat just before you got the heartburn? Maybe that's triggering it. Like I have people come in and say, I got a heartburn. And I ask them, like in the morning, what do you eat this morning? Oh, I eat whatever. And okay, mornings looks good. What did you have for supper last night? Oh, I had a bowl of chili. It's so good. I had 2 bowls. you know, Maybe that's causing you the heartburn. Not that you are deficient in acid reducing medication, but maybe you ate too much of the chili. Like that's sort of the basic thing. And so every time that people come and talk to us and get a prescription at our pharmacy, that's what we try to do, and say, okay, you have this, illness or whatever. We're giving you prescription medication. Do think about what else is creating it, what else is causing it? So that's sort of the basic um, functional medicine aspect that we work on. So we always trying to find what the cause of it, rather than okay, let's treat the symptoms.
I love that. Yeah. And so when you're trying to find the causes, are they always a physical cause or sometimes it's a mental cause or an emotional cause? Like, what's your experience of that?
All of the above. And this is great, right? We're talking on the spiritual growth forum, and I'm glad you brought it up, because for us to be spiritually growing and healthy, you have to have a good emotional balance and health. But if you don't have the physical health, if you're sick, you're ill, you're not going to have a good emotional health and balance. So all of them are tied together. So a lot of time when I work with my client or my patient, then I end up actually talking to them about their emotional health, their emotional issue that they have. And sometimes it's interesting in the way that I became sometime their therapist, because I will dig all the way to childhood if needed to, and we keep asking questions and they keep going back and back and back. And I have patients that tell me when they were 2. I'm like, okay, that's
Now we're
stacking up
getting to
all
something.
that, we're
Yes.
getting something, right? Was peeling the layer, and we're like all the stacking up stuff. Now we're, removing stack by stack by stack. And then, okay, when you were 2, oh, my parents said I was like this. okay, then how's your family environment? All of that come into play. So absolutely, that's the emotional side, right? That we have to really dig into. Like, for example, for myself, the reason I went back to 2 is when I was 2, I was told when I was older, when I was 2, living in third world country, military rules, my mom actually got arrested by military police without giving any reason. And they took her away, put her in jail for 30 days. And I was only 2. And everybody said I cry every night on top of my lungs. Neighbors can hear it. That was my emotional trauma.
Absolutely.
And
And
that affects your physical health.
absolutely. And you probably don't even remember that, right?
Uh-uh.
Like, and yet
I,
it's so deeply
yeah.
buried that, you came here, you became a regular pharmacist, and you're having bloody diarrhea
Mhm.
and sinus infections and
Yeah.
all the things because that's the physical manifestation
Yeah.
of that little 2-year-old who
Yeah.
needed a little more love, right?
Absolutely. The only thing I know was when I was 8 or 9 or 10, I know that I always have constipation. And we chopped it up to because I don't like eating vegetables. And I didn't until last 10 years that I forced myself to start eating vegetables because I'm telling people to do that. I'm, you get me as me, right? You work with me, I tell you that I'm going to ask you to eat vegetables and you have to eat these if you can, multiple different one. And I tell them, they say, oh, that's not easy. I said, I understand because up to 10 years ago, I hated it. Like right now, I will eat like uh, bitter melon and stuff. 10 years ago, my wife can make me eat bitter melon. She likes it. She buys, she cook it. That's her. So, I tell it as straight. Yes, I understand that. It's not easy, but you need to get that balance, etc. So yeah, so when I was 8, 9, or 10, all my brothers and sisters and my parents, yeah, he's constipated because he doesn't like eating vegetables. No, because I was stressed when I was 2 emotionally.
Absolutely. Yeah, we
So,
get stuck, right?
yeah,
And the stuck is physical as well as mental and spiritual. So if any one of those three is out of balance and feeling
that
stuck, it shows up
you're
in
going to be
2.
sick. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So, if your body is feeling all stuck, then you're going to be stuck
yeah,
emotionally and you're going
yeah,
to be stuck spiritually and you're not going to
yeah.
hear the inner voice
No,
and vice versa.
yeah. And the other thing is that we have to accept that, right? A lot of people are in denial emotionally and spiritually and mentally. And that, like you said, that's how they get stuck.
Yeah.
If you don't accept that, then you're not going to get anywhere. And so when we talk about, they are in denial, a lot of people that come in to talk to me, when I ask them after 5 minutes or so, I said, maybe you are stressed. And they will say it right out. No, I don't have stress in my life. I'm like,
Which is
okay,
always the first indication you were actually really stressed out.
really stressed because they don't look at, you know, they only look at really bad things like car accidents or, got cut or got burned or whatever as a stress. But there's other things that happen in our life. We don't look at it as stress. I had one lady that came into my store like 15 years ago. She came in Friday and she was talking to my other pharmacist. And then my other pharmacist, after 10 minutes, came to me and said, you really need to talk to her. I think this is what's happening, but you can, you know, verify it. So I went and talked to her and I said, okay, how can we help you? And she said, I can't sleep. I can't fall asleep. If I fall asleep, I wake up like 2, 3 in the morning and I cannot go back to sleep.
Yep.
So we said, when does it start happening? She said, oh, just this week. So we said, is there something like us? First thing I asked was, are you traveling or, whatever? She said, yeah, I'm not from Winnipeg. I came into Winnipeg a week ago, and since then I can't sleep. You know where I'm going?
I
So I
totally
said,
do.
okay, what is the reason that you came into Winnipeg? I said, maybe you're stressed with the traveling. She said, oh, I'm not stressed. I said, okay, you're not stressed. Why are you in Winnipeg? She said, my daughter lives here. I flew into Winnipeg to plan her wedding, which is tomorrow.
Oh, but
And I
she's not
looked,
stressed. Nope.
no, I looked at her and I smiled and I said, so you're not stressed? She said, no, I'm excited. So because she's so excited, she can't sleep, she can't eat. But that's what I'm getting to is that the stress either way, like you're too excited for wedding and stuff, or graduation. Like graduations are coming up next week, right? High school graduation. People's gonna be excited, but there's gonna be people who cannot sleep or cannot eat. And then they're gonna go talk to the doctor and say, I can't sleep, and the doctor's gonna write them a sleeping medication. They don't need that. They just need to do a belly breathing and calm down, right? Because you're
Yes.
excited, the same thing, your body going to fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
You got stressed, the same thing, your body going to fight or flight. Reaction is exactly the same. So you need to accept that.
Absolutely. I love that. So tell me a little bit more about some of the coping mechanisms, right? The
Mhm.
alternative, like the belly breathing that you mentioned. Like, what are some
Yeah,
of the other ways that we can kind of combat that stress in the moment
yeah,
so that we can come back to normal?
absolutely. The easiest way is the breathing, like belly
Mhm.
breathing or deep breathing. I tell a lot of people that if you feel that you start getting stress or anxiousness, then you do 10 deep breathing. And that
Okay.
should calm your stress response down. And it should calm your heart rate. Like, because when you're stressed, heart rate go up, blood pressure go up. And people will tell you that to the point that they get headache because of that. Or they get anxious, or they get anxiety, or they get panic. So when that happens, you clear your head. You don't want to think about what's causing it. You want to forget about everything. Just stand there, take a deep breath, 10 deep breath in and out. And some people ask me, okay, so how do you do the deep breath? I'm like, just normal breath. And they can do it. So I actually learned it. There's a different technique of breath work that you can use. One is called box breathing, which is you inhale, count 2, you hold the breath for 2, and you exhale for 2. Because it's like a 2, 2, 2. It's like a box, square box.
Mhm.
So we call it box breathing. For some people, they have to do it a little bit differently. We call it 2-time breath, which is if you inhale 2, you exhale 4. You inhale 4, you exhale 8. And then there's another one that they call it, I think, 4-7-9. You inhale 4 and you hold for 7. And then you exhale for 9. So depending on where you are at, and you can try and do these different type of breathing, and whichever one works for you, keep doing it. The other thing that I learned through Tony Robbins is a tapping. When you're stressed, tapping on the, like here, tapping on the eyebrow, like there's different area of, there's a, different area that you tap, and it works well because that distracts you, right? Because you're tapping here, and as I'm talking, I have to stop because I'm going to forget what I'm going to say.
Right? You either tap in, like you're like, okay,
Yeah,
I can either tap or I can talk,
talk.
but
Exactly.
otherwise I'm going to be like
Yeah.
not in.
And
I'm not gonna. It's not gonna
yeah,
be rhythm, right? Like,
no.
yeah,
And they do, like, they taught that to these 7, 8-year-old kids, and it works great for them. So there's
absolutely,
all these different techniques. Not one is right, right? Whatever work for you, do that.
and do more of it. More of it
Absolutely.
than you think, right?
When I tell people to do this deep breathing thing, 10 breath 3 times a day is what I usually tell them. Not just only when you're stressed, but regularly you do that, your stress response actually is calmer, which
Yes.
is what I find it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, what else do people really not understand about the stress body, mind, spirit
Well, they
relationship?
don't understand how the stress is affecting their body because, like, for example, weight loss. A lot of people want to lose weight, especially now summer's coming, right? They want to go outside jogging, they want to look good, they want to go to the beach, they want to look good. And so I have people that come to me, of course, more female than male because female, you know,
There's more pressure on women to be skinny.
exactly. So
Yeah.
they want to get ready and they don't want to look bad. They want to look good. And so they come to me, and a few of them that over the year, they'll tell me that, you know, since last 2 months, I've been going to the gym so that I can lose weight. So I used to go to gym 3 times a week. I exercise an hour a day. Now, last 2 months, I increased it. I've been going there every day. And instead of 1 hour a day exercise, now I'm doing 2 hours a day so that I can lose weight faster.
And they're not
Yeah,
losing a single ounce, right?
they're gaining. And they said, how
Absolutely.
come I'm gaining weight? And they said, at the same time, I used to eat, whatever, like chicken breast or dinner. Now I'm even cutting it into half and I'm eating less and I'm gaining more weight. Guess what?
Mhm.
Doing the extra exercise, you're causing your body more stress. And then when body is stressed, body wanted more protein and more energy, you're cutting the calorie that the body need. So the body is now even more stressed and getting into starvation mode because saying, I'm exercising more, I'm spending more energy, but I'm not getting food. So whatever that come into my system, I better save it just in case she cut the meal totally out. So I won't die. So I'm going to save these as a fat. And if she decided to cut the meal out, I have the fat to live on. And that's what happened. So you need to understand that that's one of the things. So there's so many different areas that stress affect. So, I mentioned it that when you get under the stress, your heart rate go up, your blood pressure go up. So there's some people out there on blood pressure medication. If they manage their stress or look at it, if there's something creating that stress, that may help them manage the blood pressure medication better. And almost everybody that has a heartburn is the stress response because when you're under chronic stress, your digestive system slow down because your brain go into fight or run, right? Fight or flight. When you're gonna be in fighting the tiger or you're running from the tiger, you're not thinking about eating. You don't have time to eat because if you thinking about eating, you're gonna be becoming a dinner yourself, right? So the brain saying, don't think about food. We don't need to eat. We either fight this or we either run. So the whole digestive system slow down. So digestive enzymes are not coming out. Stomach acids are not coming out. And the whole muscle movement slow down. And if that happen chronically, the bacteria in our gut become imbalanced. And when that happens, then there's more fermentation and stuff. Whatever you eating little become fermented. And all of that also later on start causing irregular acid production. And if that happens, the acid will come up. And then that's why you got the heartburn. So it's the stress induced chronic stress-induced condition, yeah, you can take the SS reduction stuff like the purple pill and stuff for acute treatment, but you really need to work on changing the whole stress response and fixing the gut. Otherwise, you're going to be on that purple pill for the rest of your life and
Which is
nothing's going to change, which is
yeah,
not good because that started affecting your mineral absorption and stuff, and it's going to start affecting protein digestion. And then the other
absolutely.
thing with the sleep side is that when you have a chronic stress, your body, every little thing become a fight or flight. Like I have women that came to me and told me that I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting in my, living room reading a book, and I got this severe hot flashes. 20 of them came on right away. So I asked them, "What book are you reading? Is it exciting? Is it scary?" And they looked at me like, "What has got to do with it?" I said, "Everything, because your system is now always in alert. That you see that and you feel it emotionally, that trigger the hot flashes for people." I experienced the hot flashes myself being a male because one point I was so stressed out and I didn't know what to do. And knowing what I do, I didn't know what to do at the time. I was just froze in the spot for 2 minutes. And head to toe, I feel like somebody poking me with all these needles throughout my body. I'm like, okay, this is how hot flashes feel. And I
Not
was sweating. Not good. I was sweating. So,
absolutely.
so
I have a funny story about hot flashes. I'm really sorry, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
have to break in
yeah,
because this one,
absolutely.
I just realized it. Okay, so I got a new mattress when Ian was born, right around the
Mm-hmm,
same time.
mm-hmm,
And I thought I went into early menopause because
mm-hmm.
I was immediately so hot at night that I could hardly stand it. I
Oh,
still
wow.
have the damn mattress. It's only like, 15, 18
Okay.
years old. Anyways, so I've spent the last 18 years dying at night and thinking that it was just like menopause and I just had to live with it.
Yeah.
Okay. About 20 years ago, they changed the way they make mattresses
Okay.
and they put a lot of plastic in them now.
Ooh.
So if you have a newer mattress that's under about 20 years old and you're finding that you're really hot all of a sudden at night, every night after you
You
buy
might
a new
want to change
mattress,
it.
it's the mattress and you need one that doesn't have any of that stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I'm allergic to wool, so that kind of limits my options here. I don't think they make any with the cotton batting that they used to make. So I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyways, I need a new bed. So if anybody has any suggestions for ones, there
You
you go.
may, yeah, there gotta be always solutions. So I'm sure somebody's
Absolutely.
making whatever, right? And when you talk about they have the plastic in it, what happened is that your body is actually absorbing some of the microplastic into your
Absolutely.
system. You
Yep.
know what? These plastics are xenoestrogen. When you got too much estrogen, you get hot flashes.
Who knew, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I've learned it with all these crazy training that I did over the year. And so, people come to me with hot flashes and say, "Oh, my doctor said I need more estrogen." I'm like, "No, you don't need more estrogen. You got too much estrogen that you're having hot flashes." But anyway,
So
so yeah, so
good.
that's where, the sleep and stuff, right? So when people tell me that they can fall asleep, it's because their stress is causing their cortisol high in the evening. But people, when they wake up middle of the night, 2 or 3 in the morning, and they can fall back asleep, there's two things. One, cortisol spike. The reason cortisol spike a lot of time is that because 2 in the morning, with your stress response, your insulins are not working properly, your sugar level actually plummeted.
Mm,
When that happens, the brain gets stressed because the brain needs the most sugar, right? If there's not enough sugar for the brain to burn, it died. So the brain then telling the adrenal gland, I need sugar, so it cortisol come out. when cortisol come out, one of the main things that cortisol does is increase the sugar level in the blood so that it can carry the sugar to all over the body, including the brain. So make the liver produce sugar from either your protein or the store sugar or from the fat. So,
Absolutely.
so with that, then you wake up. So what I tell a lot of people to try it is if you keep waking up middle of the night, apart from doing meditation before bedtime, have a protein before you go to bed.
Absolutely.
And you will find that the reason I said that is I'm not a diabetic, but I try to wear those constant monitor that
Mm-hmm.
always telling your phone that what your sugar level is. The
Yep.
first one that I put on was the night before my Christmas vacation. I was
Okay.
packing the whole night. I was stressed. I wasn't eating properly. I went to bed at 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock, my phone started beeping loudly because my sugar level went down to 2.5.
Oh,
That is dangerous. And I'm not
yes.
diabetic. And because I was stressed and I didn't eat properly at the supper time, and usually I have to have protein before I go to bed. I'm one of those. Otherwise, I can sleep through. People said, don't eat, before go to bed. I'm outlier. I have to have protein before I go to bed. And so that night I didn't. And so the next day I'm flying to Hawaii with my family. And throughout the airport, the whole day, 12-hour flight, I'm trying to figure out what to eat at the airport food. You can do it. You know, a lot of people blame that, oh, because I'm flying a lot, that my meals are bad. I got to the point that after lunch the next day, my monitor stopped beeping me.
Excellent. Yeah.
And the
Um,
whole week at the Hawaii, I didn't have any issue. I just watch what I eat.
I find actually, funny enough, airports do tend to have some reasonably healthy
Hmm.
offerings, right?
Hmm.
Like there's always some place that'll have a salad. There's
Yeah,
always some place where you can get a sandwich, and it's
yeah,
usually they've got a whole wheat option.
yeah, yeah.
So there's
And
there's options.
you can choose to make sure that there's enough protein for your meal type of thing. So that's what I did. I had a like beef sandwich and salad throughout the flying. Every airport that I get to, either I go get the burger, eat less bread, you know, add some sweet potato fries if I can find salad, and you play with it.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah,
all about balance. It's
yeah,
all about balance. Um,
exactly.
I want to ask you a question because
Sure.
I've noticed this for myself, and I'm wondering if this is something that you're seeing with other people. When I was younger,
Hmm.
I could not eat, it didn't matter.
Hmm.
As I get older, though, I'm
Hmm.
noticing that if I don't eat a protein before bed,
Hmm.
I do get heartburn. And I'm wondering if you're seeing that in other people, that as they get older, that their needs change and they're like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, this actually does make me feel better
yeah,
than it
absolutely.
used to. Like, yeah,
Yeah, because when we were growing, when we were younger, our body can adapt to a very good, very quickly to anything. Like when I'm working with 20-year-old and they have this, that, whatever, I tell them, you know what? Give me 6 months max. I can fix it. Like I work with teenager that like girls that came to me, the parents were working with me, and then parents decided, you know what, you need to help my daughter because she's 19 and she never had period yet. I'm like, okay, let's talk and talk about all these different stress, etc., how they eat. And I'm
yeah,
like, give me 6 months. And usually within 3 to 4 months, I got their regular period. I got their stress managed. And I have people that come to me and said, oh, you know what? I'm have this health condition, whatever, or mood issue, and we talk about stress and stuff. And I usually tell them, you know what? Give me 6 months. If they are under 20 or under 30, usually I tell them, give me 6 months. If you're going to follow my instruction and eat and take supplement and, do the lifestyle stuff and exercise a bit, no issue. One of the interesting case that I had, and it's scary too that I'm going to share. 25-year-old girl came to me 15 years ago. Yeah, between 15 and 10 to 15 years ago. The parents brought her to me because they heard from their friends that they think I can help their daughter. And so they came in, we had an hour meeting. Mom and dad and the daughter, they sit with me in the office and we're talking, and she will not say a word. She just stared at me like the wall against her. And the parents are telling me how she was when she was younger, all of that. And so I said, okay, when does this happen? And she's apparently suicidal. And she's on 3 different antipsychotic and antidepressant and sleeping medication, and nothing's working. And she attempted suicide a couple of times. And so the parents said, they were like, mom was bawling. And mom was saying to the daughter, say something. She wouldn't say a word. So after an hour, I said, okay, I think I know what's going on. I said, I'm going to load her up with a supplement because she's not eating properly. She's deficient. Initially, we need to load that up. And then I said, 3 months, we'll see. Because at the time, 10, 15 years ago, I usually do one-on-one appointment by appointment only. And they, like right now, I do the program, right? I work with you 3 months straight or 6 months straight. Back then is, okay, you come to see me, and then this is my direction. Come back in 3 months. And so I typed it up, I printed out, and put it on the desk and in front of everybody. I said, let's do this. And including, menu suggestion on there, including breathing, exercise, etc. And mom and dad looked at it. She looked at it. Mom and dad was going to look again. She yanked it and hold on to it and then stare at me straight. And she stood up. And she opened the door. As she's walking out with my direction on her hand, she turned around and said, I will give you 4 months and I will kill myself.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, okay. My heart dropped.
I bet.
2 months later, she called for follow-up appointment. She came by herself. She was laughing. She was teasing me. She was joking. She said, you're lucky. I decided not to kill myself. I'm like, thank you.
Lucky. No, there was no luck.
Yeah.
It was all skill.
I'm like, thank you. I'm lucky. It's like, so younger people, they are very flexible metabolically. If you get the right combination, right balance for them, they will heal really fast.
Yeah.
Like for me right now, with the stress, I get still my digestive issue, whatever. 10 years ago, if I have that, I drink kombucha, or I have kefir or something, within 8 hours, I'm good. Now that I'm going to tell my age, now that I'm 60s, take usually 24 hours to turn things around for me now. Before it's like 6 to 8 hours, I have no issue. But now that, I still think I'm young. Don't get me wrong. I laughed at it when I turned 60. I went to bank and I've been banking at the Scotia Bank the same time for last 20, 30 years. And so one of the senior manager now, she used to be the teller, and we became good friends because over the years, I've been dealing with them. So she noticed that. So she saw me and she's like, come here. I was looking at your account. I said, what? She said, you turned 60, so I can give you the senior account.
You're like,
Save me some
oh, I
money. I'm like, oh
suppose,
my
but
God.
gosh, but I don't want to be 60, damn it.
No. So I ignore the number.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. I love it. Um, what else should people know about when it comes to their health and all of the ways that that can impact basically their entire lives? What have we missed that we need to
What are
cover
we
today?
missing is that the Western culture, and not for everybody, but generally, we always trying to get ahead of each other. And we see somebody got something, we should be grateful, gratitude, and we should be happy for them, right? But a lot of us are trained, if they have one car, you have to have two cars. If their kids are in soccer, your kid has to be in soccer and dance. You know, I've seen that when I started my pharmacy 27 years ago. Our area was all these 8, 9, 10 years old. And the parents will come in quickly to pick up antibiotic prescription for them because they've got ear infection, but they still has to be at soccer, dance, and karate. Right after they pick the kid up from school, the kid having ear infection, there's your antibiotic, there's your McDonald's, let's go to soccer.
Funny how
Eat on
that
the
works.
run. We have no time.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I tell a lot of people, and people laughed at me, is that we don't chew the food. We need to chew the food 20 to 40 times a mouthful before we swallow. Two reasons. One, our intestine does not have teeth to chew your food.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we only have teeth in our mouth. So use it. I have people that will bite a couple of times and swallow. Guess what? In the long run, that causes digestive issue. Your gut has to work harder. So you chew the food mechanically breaking down, making it smaller pieces. So when it get into your intestine, there's more surface area for your digestive enzyme to attack compared to one big piece of bread or meat or whatever. The other thing is that when you chew 20 times to 40 times, that tell the brain that you're eating. And
Just like
then
this.
the brain started producing saliva to, mix the food that you're chewing. In that saliva, there's already digestive enzyme in it. So there's already digestion going on, not just physical breaking down, mechanical breaking down. So that's one of the things, and that will slow you down. When I go out to eat with my friends and staff, they all laughed at me because they all finished their dessert and I'm still on my main meal. Like on my podcast, one of my podcast hosts is Willard Reeves, former Blue Bomber. And I've talked about chewing that. And every podcast that we host together, he teased me. He said, you can get me to do breathing and all of that and protein shake and eating greens and stuff. But he said, you will never get me to chew 20 times. I'm like, I'll get to you yet.
I love that. I'm forever forgetting to do that. I know I should, but it's one of those things that,
everybody is busy, right?
yeah.
And so, this has become a sort of, you don't think about it. So because you don't think about it, you unconsciously just chew, 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 swallow. I got to finish this so I can go do something more
Yes.
important. This is important, right? So that's one of the things that you really need to do. And that help you slow down. The other thing that, some people say, I can do the breathing. You know what? What you can do is that before you get angry or you get excited, breathe and then count to 5. Just thinking of counting to 5. And that in itself will stop your brain, right?
Absolutely.
And the other thing is everything is balanced. No overindulging or no cutting too much. I want to share a little bit about um, intermittent fasting.
I love this topic. Let's talk intermittent fasting.
I've been telling all my patients that you need to understand if you want to do intermittent fasting, not just because you want to do intermittent fasting, you should go ahead. Everybody is different, and not everybody is able to do intermittent fasting. The theory behind intermittent fasting is you will not eat for about 12 hours to 16 hours, depends on, people to person, whoever doing it. And when you're eating, the intermittent fasting guru specialists are called that eating window.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my colleagues that I'm training together in JJ Virgin Mastermind, she's the intermittent specialist. She's an intermittent expert. She wrote 3 books on intermittent fasting. She has thousands and thousands of followers on Facebook, and then she left Facebook and went to different platform. Everybody follow her. She has a whole community of intermittent fasting people that follow her, that weekly they have discussion and sharing information. What she call it is, she doesn't even call it intermittent fasting now. She call it fast and feast, because in that eating window, you really, really have to feast and feed your body properly. I'm finding it that a lot of people come into me and saying, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting. When you're doing intermittent fasting properly, you should improve your focus and energy. And you should lean down. You should not be exhausted. You should not be, tired, all of that. And the reason they are tired, etc., is they're fasting either too long or they're not eating enough or not eating proper food.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's going to stress out. Like I don't know, we have time, but I have one gentleman that came to me for longevity. And he was younger than 30, between 25 and 30, and a father of 2 kids. And he came to me because his friend from high school with 3 concussion, after 2 years, I reversed him, quote unquote, 100% how he used to be. So when the friend saw that, oh, what did you do? So my patient told him, oh, I worked with Dennis for 2 years. So he said, oh, I've been, going to the gym and I've been healthy, and now I want to go next step with the longevity that my doctor's not listening to me what I want. Dennis says, being pharmacist, I'm going to talk to him. And if he talk to my doctor will listen to him. And so his friend said, yeah, go see him. So he booked an hour with me. He paid me for my hour thing. And he said, metformin, which is a diabetic medication, the studies are shown that people without the diabetes condition, if you take it, that actually improves the cell longevity, which is correct. However, you have to have already healthy cell. He said, I'm healthy. I go to gym 5 days a week. And I do intermittent fasting. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, I'm trying to learn intermittent fasting. So can you tell me what you do? He said, I got to the point that I only need to eat 1 meal a day. I'm like, wow. So when is your meal? 5 o'clock. Okay, good. So he said, by 6 o'clock, I don't eat anything until the next day, 5 o'clock. And I feel good. I'm like, really? So I said, okay. So, but I looked at him. He's grabby. He's telling me that he want more energy. That's why he wanted metformin. And I'm thinking, you look exhausted. So I said, for that 5 o'clock meal, you said you eat really good. What are you eating? I always ask them, right? What are you eating breakfast, lunch, supper? So for him, it's just supper. So it's easy, right? Other people say, oh, I forgot what I eat for breakfast stuff, but he's only eat one meal a day. I'm like, okay, tell me what's your meal. He looked at me and he kind of frowned. I said, yeah. He said, my two daughters are 3 and 5. I said, okay.
Are you
They are
eating them?
picky eater. They are picky eater. I'm like,
Okay.
oh yeah. So he said, I have to eat what they eat. I said, okay, what do they eat? On the way home, he will go through McDonald's drive-through and buy a 20-piece chicken McNugget. That's the supper for him and 2 girls.
That's his only. Oh my gosh! No wonder he's like got no energy. He
Yeah,
can't brain
yeah,
fog.
yeah.
Yeah.
Meantime, he wants the metformin. And I said, I'm glad your doctor did not prescribe it because you would die.
Yeah, no kidding, hey?
And he walked out really mad because he had to pay me for, my rate. He has to pay me for an hour and he didn't get anything. Oh, he got a
Well,
lot
did
of
he
education.
got told not to do any of the things he's doing, which is really hard to
Exactly.
tell people, right?
So
Oh my gosh.
So for me, it's that, do the breathing, do the meditation. Like since COVID happened, I do meditation in the morning, 15 minutes, meditation in the evening, 15 minutes. If I get a stressful day, my meditation go up to 30 minutes before bedtime. And then the next morning, my meditation go up to 30 minutes. And then be grateful. If other people are doing well, happy for them. Congratulate them. And then if you want the same thing, then you kind of ask them if they are your friend, what are you doing that you're getting these things? I want to learn. And then learn about it, do about it. Don't get upset and so much pushing yourself that you can get stressed more.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So where can people learn more about you? I'm going to drop the link for your ebook right here.
Yeah. So last 3 years, I'm one of those that I have a lot of information in my head. And whatever I do, even like, when I was talking to you about different things, whatever, I just tell you things and I can write it down. But I decided that 2 years ago, you know what? Some of these things, if I put it in the book and I share it. So I came up with the ebook and I'm grateful that you helped me, make it better because I don't like writing and I just wrote it. And so, we got this ebook that talk about how stress affect all the different area of our physical system. And if you can understand that and you kind of trying to consciously, manage that and keep that balance, then it's going to actually improve your emotional and spiritual health. And
Absolutely.
that's the start with it. But definitely, if anybody want to explore more what they can do, they can try and reach me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Go for the Instagram. You go find Healing You From Within. That's my handle. On the Facebook is just search Dennis Wong and you'll find me.
Perfect. Awesome.
I'm on there
and
all
of course,
the time. So
you're in the group here, so they can always just
absolutely,
search and find you that way.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And message me to that group, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having a chat with me today. I appreciate it.
It's always been pleasure.
I know.
always fun to talk to you, and we always laughed at all these things that we share
Absolutely.
with each other. So